Welcome, guys. We are back with podcast Memoirs of a DJ, and we are on the phone today with Toronto's beautiful shining star, DJ Johnny Rivex. How you doing, brother?
Hello, everybody, and hello, Tequila Land. I am doing good, sir. Hey, I just realized today is Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo to all the tequila fans out there.
It is. Salute.
Salute. So I'm surprised this conversation is having without tequila shots.
Yeah, we're not doing shots today. This is a family show.
What's going on, Tequila Cowboy? How you guys doing?
Doing great here. Today, we just wanted to get into it with you a little bit and talk to you about some of your memories as a DJ. And we spoke earlier on the phone, and we got to know that you got into DJing at what 12 or 13 years old in a bet with your friend.
Yep, that's pretty much it. It was grade 8. In short, grade 8 was our school dances were done by some guy who could, well, one of our kids who could put some music together, and listening to it, watching people not dance, I was like, well, I could probably do better. He bet me that I couldn't. I did. And I kept doing it, and then I got paid for it, and then I kept getting better at it. And what now, 10, 15 years later, I'm still doing it, and I don't know what he's up to. So
Not DJing, obviously.
I said I've searched him up. I can't find it. I don't know whether he's DJing. He's probably married with kids and given up on the DJ dream. But here we are. Here I'm going.
Nice. So, are you a DJ? Like you do nightclubs, obviously, but you Boots and what is it? That big festival that you do there at your end of the world?
Boots and Hearts is what we do in Ontario.
Boots
Yep.
and Hearts.
So, in short, I guess country music is what I do. It's my jam. How I got into it, in the words of Riley Green, there was this girl. And yeah, kind of actually. She took me out to a country bar. I always listened to country. My parents listened to country, but we went out to a country bar down near my house, kind of walked in there, said, hey, this is fun. And this is like 10 minutes from my house, which is even better. And then applied, put my work in, scuffed my boots, got my hands dirty, worked my way in, and then started playing. And then started playing and was like, wait a minute, there is not a lot of country DJs out there. And I really enjoy playing this kind of music. So let's just specialize in it and get really damn good at it. That kind of kept going. And then just kept working at it. And, in the sense of if someone tells me I can't, that's more reason for me to do it.
Absolutely.
So, basically there's a music festival here in Ontario. It's called the Boots and Hearts Music Festival. It's pretty much, I would say, the biggest one we would have in central, I would say not central Ontario, but like Ontario. We'll call it Ontario because I wouldn't call it central Canada. But yeah, so it's the biggest one it's now 7 years if we don't include pandemic years. And they've had headliners from Jason Aldean to Blake Shelton to Eric Church to Carrie Underwood. They've got big production. And I get to, at least up until the pandemic, do the VIP after parties as the official DJ for the entire festival. So that has been pretty sweet. That's been my jam. And then in addition to that, I play nightclubs. I play concerts. Basically, if it's country in Ontario, I'm probably going to be there. And then not just limited to Ontario now. We're expanding.
Well, that's cool because I was speaking to a promoter here that I'm working with at a music fest, and he actually said that you reached out to him here in BC, and that's kind of cool that you're out there spreading your Johnny Rivex wings and looking for brighter horizons. That's cool.
That's interesting that sorry, not to say that. I think I know who you're talking about, and it's kind of weird because they just added me on Instagram, and usually when a festival or promotion company adds me, I always send hey, what's up? Thanks for the ad, and obviously you found me, so if you need anybody, let me know. And then in that same sense, I was kind of like, wait, you're out in tequila territory. Like, have you heard of this guy, Tequila Cowboy, before you got messaging me? Because I don't live anywhere near y'all. And then they told me that, they actually do know you, and, they got you slotted and stuff and that. And I said, oh, well, then that is fantastic. So, yes, if Tequila gets sick, I'm sure he'll call me, And if he doesn't call me, then I'm sure I'll be there to party regardless.
Yeah, no, that's actually my first official music fest that I get to be part of. We've been doing after parties at venues for a long time, but unofficial after parties. We just threw them together as DJs, brought all our gear, brought our lights, fog machines, and just had parties. And we had huge, like thousands of people come to our after parties. It's fun, man. Like one of the coolest things to do as a DJ is something like that, an after party, just a random throw it up. Hopefully, people will show up, and next thing you know, it's just a stomper. I love it.
Yep, those are the best, man. Unexpected field parties are the best kind of parties. Oh, yeah, that's a memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge. Like we spoke earlier, and you were thinking you didn't really have a big memory, but man, that's one that you're gonna put to bed at the end of the day. That you've been the official party guy for that music fest, man. That's cool. That's a huge memory there in its own.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge
Yeah, I mean,
accomplishment.
what was that?
That's a huge accomplishment as a DJ. I mean, that's a big tip of the hat to you.
Oh, I appreciate it. I mean, as I said, it was a pretty sweet gig to get and kind of been holding down for. Um, and while, as I said, like not to kind of, yeah, no, I'll just say that, yeah. I mean, I say that in the sense not to kind of put those down at any way, shape, or form, but like I think to re-answer the question of what's your best memory, yeah, the music festivals, those are insane. Those are next level kind of shows, right?
Oh
But at the
yeah,
end of the day, those are performances. Those are shows. And there's a level of difference between doing a music festival and then throwing, as you kind of say, is like a DJ field party.
yeah.
And I think I can safely say one of my best memories was actually a field party that we did. It was at my buddy's barn, like field farm airstrip kind of thing. We just showed up, set up a bunch of sound systems, set up a bunch of lights, threw a party and set up beside a big old bonfire and had 300 people just completely lose their mind.
That's
We
awesome.
threw a music festival before music festivals were a thing.
If you build it, they will come.
That's it, man. I would say, you know what? If you had to ask me what would be the biggest memory, I would say the biggest memory was probably throwing field parties,
Yeah,
doing what I can do, but unofficially.
yeah. Those are cool. My biggest memory for me would have to be the night I got to open for Granger Smith at my nightclub that I work for, the OK Corral in Kelowna. Dude, that was insane off the hook. He brought his entire arena show, but he condensed it down to a nightclub. But he brought
Oh
his
wow!
lasers, he brought everything, his entire staff. I mean, it was it was a 12 out of a 10. And from just standing there in the crowd watching, it was like, wow, this is happening right
Wow!
now. This is what? It was
Yeah,
for me. I live for those moments, and I've been really fortunate and lucky to be a DJ that gets to open up for a lot of acts that come through here. And that for me, I'm always going to be proud of. It's just like, wow. And I've showed you my collection of CD cases that I've had autographed for me from artists. And I'm
yeah.
hopefully to continue that now, but I don't know how I'm going to continue getting CDs because we don't make them anymore. But the autographs I plan on still collecting.
Well, I mean, I remember showing me those on some of these video Zoom calls, we'll call it.
Yeah.
And I have to say, yeah, I am quite jealous of your collection, to say the least.
It's fun. And being a DJ, I never would have thought that I'd have these opportunities to get to meet these artists, let alone share a stage or open for them. And then when
Hmm.
they're done, continue the party. I mean, that's a tough act. I mean, when you've got a freaking full bar of 500 people and they're there to be entertained, and holy smokes, you got to bring it. And so that's to me has always been a challenge, and I love that in it. It always gets my blood pumping and gets me fired up. And so I don't know. Mom and Dad called me Daryl John when I was a kid, but my uncle called me DJ the minute I was born, and that name stayed with me. So kind of they were looking ahead, I think, on that one.
They knew your fate before you knew
Yeah, it was sealed the day I was born.
it. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. This is really awesome to get to talk to you. We've shared a lot of Sundays with each other on St. Twitch with some friends of ours, and we've traveled around the world with each other and been on that raid train on St. Twitch. The one thing that really stands out to me in my mind of you as a DJ A lot of other DJs will play edits. They'll sit down on the computer, they build these edits, and then they'll play them at a later date. And the one thing I noticed with you, you're making these remixes in real time. You're not building these edits on Wednesday to play on Sunday, and
Oh yeah.
that's to me that's awesome, and I love that about what you do, man. That just freestyling it like that, I dig that, dude.
Well, I appreciate it, and I mean, I guess that kind of comes with the years of playing in the clubs and doing this as, I guess we call it, but like as a festival style DJ, right?
Yeah,
I mean, to kind of give context to the space, if I didn't get into country, I probably would be playing an EDM festival instead. You know,
yeah,
um, to say it in the sense, I'm not necessarily the kind of DJ that would want to just be playing at some like small venue and then that's kind of it. For me, it's give me a stage, give me. Well, you see me. I mean, hell,
yeah.
if you guys watch the streams, it is noon on a Sunday. It's a 12 o'clock on a Sunday, and after partying all night until 3 o'clock in the morning at a club the night before, it is noon on a Sunday, and here I am drinking whiskey as my breakfast and throwing a party.
Yeah, that's fun.
Right? So I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that I have a little bit too much energy, I don't think I would be able to do this job effectively. So yeah, throwing all those edits in there and kind of keeping things freestyle, that's how you got to do it, man. Some of the biggest DJs I look up to, their whole kind of concept is never have a preset set because your crowd will be different every night.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
it's
So
true.
yeah, no, I appreciate the fact that you can appreciate the fact. I can appreciate the fact that you can appreciate the fact that it's all free. It's not free. It's all raw, so
Yeah,
to speak. You see what you see is what you get, in the words of Luke Combs. And sometimes those are great, and sometimes they're complete train wrecks. But that's how you
yeah.
know that they're not, cookie cutter sets.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that sometimes they work and they are like butter, and sometimes hey, they're just not there. But most of the
Yeah.
time, the only time that I would say that your edits or your mixing wasn't on par on a Sunday at noon at your time was. I think the night that you stayed on my live stream till about 3 o'clock in the morning your time, and we did a little bit of drinking that night.
Yeah, yeah. I think the only time my quality somewhat decreases is when I'm out partying with Tequila Cowboy virtually until God knows what time it is on Eastern Central Time. Because you wrap up your show by what, 11 o'clock almost, Pacific time, right?
I used to. I've since the world is opening up for the last couple of months now. I've been going from 9 till 1 a.m. Getting used to doing 5 hours again, because
Yeah.
that's what our sets are in real life. So I mean, I've already had a couple of gigs, and my first gig back was doing the music for a rodeo, an extreme rodeo. 4,500 people in the stands, man, and it was just insane. Just to have to see the amount of people from 1 to 99 jamming out with all
Yep.
the music that I was playing, man. It's like,
That's the
yes,
vibe, man.
yeah, I'm
That's the
back.
vibe. Yeah, buddy. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was so cool. And
That
then
must have been
last
a real good
Saturday,
time.
we had a barn dance, and I shared this with a couple of live bands, and man, we had a good time. And one of the bands that I got to play with, called Youngins, we've been working together now for a little bit over 30 years. I've been opening for these guys here and there and all over the interior here in BC. So it was really cool to get together with these guys and do some reminiscing and doing the same thing, man. Remembering, like, wow, you opened up for us back in '91. I was like, yeah, I did too.
That's awesome.
I know I age myself every time I say I've been a DJ for 36 years, but hey, I'm proud of what I've been doing, and I think that should be some sort of record. I don't know if there's any DJs that have been going, as long as I have, especially in a nightclub industry, man. 34 years straight in the nightclubs. That's
Yeah, no. I think the only person that's going to beat that record is Johnny Ravix, man.
well, you know what? I'm hoping so, buddy. I'm hoping so, and I'll be right there in my wheelchair and my
I think that's the only one that's going to beat that
you
record
know,
for you, man,
when you go
buddy.
to when you're in the hospital and they've got that IV drip, that'll be me with my Jose. I'll just wheel in
Oh,
there and I'll have my Jose drip.
actually, you want me to give you a memory? Yeah, I kind of forgot about it because it was hopped up on morphine during it. But yeah, actually, that's the memory. I went for a ski trip up in I guess northern Ontario. Long story short, ended up in a tree. ended up in a hospital, ended up in a cast, ended up with morphine in my system.
Wow.
And that day, so I did that. I got messed up. I was in the hospital, let's say in the evening. So before the bar opened, the bar owner calls me up and says, "Hey, are you coming in?" So I said, "No, that might not be possible." I wasn't supposed to work that night, by the way. I had the night off, so I didn't be reckless knowing that I had to work. But they asked me, "Are you coming in?" And I said, that might be difficult. And they said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, I showed them a picture of me in the hospital bed." And they go, "Oh, are you okay?" Yeah. Okay, great. So will we see you tomorrow? And I guess I'm like, yeah, I guess I'll DJ with one hand. And sure enough, the next day we get to the bar. I'm there in a cast, in a sling, with I don't know what concoction of cocktail of painkillers. But needless to say, that enough painkillers that makes Jack Daniels look like a summer day glass of water. And rocked an 800 people nightclub with basically one arm.
That's awesome.
So I can safely say I can throw a party with one hand behind my back.
Cool. I've done it on one foot before. I've broken my foot before and had the
Yeah.
DJ on a stool. And one and only time in my life where I was a sit down DJ, and I'm telling you, I didn't like it. I prefer to stand up because I boogie, man. Like if the music is on, I gotta be moving.
I see you dance.
Yeah. I can't help myself. That's just a go automatic button that gets pushed when the music starts playing. I gotta wiggle.
Oh yeah, I think I would actually have a harder time DJing with one foot than I would with one hand.
It was challenging, man. But I couldn't say no to my shift. I was like, broke my foot this morning. Got to phone the boss and tell him. He's like, well, you better stay home. I was like, no, give me a stool. I'll be there. And I should have stayed home because holy smokes, the end of the night, my foot was swollen like an elephant's foot. It was just horrible.
At least you got the offer to. Oh wait, didn't that happen again the other time? Oh yeah, I was opening for Tim Hicks and I blew my shoulder out before.
Oh no!
In 2 hours before I had to do that.
Oh no!
That one was a little bit involved with whiskey, but that's a song for another podcast.
Yeah, that's funny. So now take me to your nightclub. How long have you been at the nightclub, and tell us a bit about the nightclub that you're in?
Right now I'm at a new nightclub, so this one hasn't been along for pretty much until the pandemic.
Okay.
So this one just started up. Before this one, I was in a circuit, so I was more freelance, where I was popping in between, I guess you can call it nightclubs and private bookings and concerts and festivals. So yeah, I would say the current nightclub I'm in, it's about 200 people. It's about a saloon downtown Toronto. It's called the Rockin' Horse Saloon. We're there Fridays and Saturdays, and I've been there since pretty much the pandemic wrapped up. So that's kind of cool. That's fun. That's a good gig to really understand what 19-year-old kids are up to and what they want to listen to. And then prior to that, I actually used to DJ at a bigger bar. It was in more northern Ontario called the Ranch in Barrie, Ontario.
I've heard of it.
And so I used to do that that was kind of like my freelance bar gig where I was at regularly, about 800 people for that one.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was generally a slow night for them would have been about 700 people.
That's insane.
And rock the house every night.
That's cool. The biggest club for me was Ranchman's, and they could squeeze in between the restaurant and their nightclub and their patio upstairs and their VIP. We had 2,500 people in the club and on New Year's and during Stampede, and that was wild, dude. That for me was wow, like mind blown.
Oh yeah, I know. I've done one or two. I've had a few good lucky nights where we full capacity, and yeah, that's exactly. I know the feeling you mean, man. It's a whole new experience when you got 2,000 people just ready to send it.
Yeah, for me, the feeling that you can't beat is when you're just rocking a bar and there's nothing that you can do wrong, and that dance floor just stays packed from the moment you walk into the DJ booth till the time you leave. And at the end of the night, when you look back and it's like, wow, that just happened, man. And those are the moments that I love as a DJ, when the bartenders are yelling at you, hey, give them a chance to drink, leave them alone for a minute. We want to make some money. I mean, that's a good problem to have as a DJ when you've overworked your crowd.
Yeah, no, I've been there, done that a couple of times. You're doing something right when you have to suck in order to do your job better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've actually had an owner come up to me and tell me, "Bring the level down. It's just too much excitement. We're too hyped. Bring it down for
Yep.
10 minutes or so. Level us off a little bit, and then you can get us back out there again." I mean, that's a
Yep.
job well done. That's one thing about a DJ. We can sometimes bring more energy than a live band, and we can
Yep.
bring more music than a live band generally too. Because
Oh, 100%.
and we
And
don't
that's
require 3 breaks in an evening to do a 5-hour show.
that's the thing that for some reason is still blowing my mind, that in Canada, the most underrated thing is a country DJ. Because yeah, the States is all about it. The States is all about it. All their big artists all have somebody to
Yeah.
hype the crowd up before, during, and after, throw after parties and everything. You come to Canada, and Lord forbid you tell them you want to play country music without having a band.
Yeah. I,
Who are you? Why are we wasting your money?
yeah. No, I've had the opportunity to open, like I said, for some big acts, and they all were almost all of them came from the States or toured through the States, and they knew
Yep.
and understood that. And one of the nightclub owners that I work for, he understood the value of having a DJ with a live band because it just complements it, and it just
Yep.
really makes a difference.
Yep. No, that's 100% the truth.
Yeah, I did help the guy do a rodeo a few years ago before the pandemic hit, and he had a live band, and he didn't realize that you needed something before the band, in between the band, and after the band.
Yep.
And I told him because he wanted me there as an MC to introduce everybody, and I was like, "Well, why don't I just bring my music?" And he's like, "No, you don't need that. The band is good." And then during the evening, in the course of the evening, he realized how much dead air there was and how many people he lost in his crowd because there was
Hmm.
nothing. People thought the night was over, so they got up and started finishing the drinks and leaving because, like,
Yep.
thanks, good
Yep.
night, thanks
Yep.
for coming. And then
That's it.
this time when he came out, he had Julian Austin as the artist come out for us. And I don't know if you know Julian very well. That guy can rock live. And he said to me this time, I made my mistake last time. This time I'm having you with me. And he says, you're going to do the music for me. And it was awesome.
Nice.
So it was nice to have not only my opinion heard, but valued as a DJ because we don't get that an awful lot as a DJ. Like you said,
Yep.
people look at you, who are you and what are you talking about, kid?
Exactly. And especially when you're a young guy who doesn't look like somebody who can throw down a country party. They're just like, what? What? Really? Are you sure you want to do this for that? And it's like, let me play 5 minutes and you'll understand.
Yeah. When people, like you mentioned earlier, when somebody tells you you can't do something, for me, I've always wanted to show you 6 different ways that I can.
Exactly.
And
It's
each one of them are going to have style.
exactly. Exactly.
Right on. So now, what's your plans moving forward? Are you planning on being a nightclub DJ, or do you want to do something different? Do you want to move into being a promoter, or what's your
Well,
future here? What's it looking like?
I mean, I'm gonna put this back out into the universe again. So when the opportunity arises to go back on tour, I would very much be ready to go to rock and roll. That was the goal. That was almost achieved prior to this wonderful thing called the pandy. And so, yeah, I would like to say that I'm going to keep working on that goal. And if it takes me the next 40 years, I'm sorry, mom and dad. Unfortunately, I did not achieve what you wanted me to achieve as a child.
Yeah, I think we all disappoint our parents in some little way, but you know what? Being a DJ, to me, it's not just something random. Buddies have always told me, "Hey, get a real job," but I mean, where else can you make like 200 an hour, 45, 55, whatever, $75 an hour, whatever it is that DJs work for, and I always work, and I've always been one of the highest paid DJs because I do what other DJs can't do on a dance floor and reading a crowd. So I've always had that little bit of a edge over some DJs, as you might say, of
Yeah.
being able to read a crowd, and I've had some
It's,
good success at that. So people have recognized that, and I get to be lucky and do some major events like that. And my goal here in the future is to continue moving forward like that, and being a rodeo announcer, doing music for rodeos, all kinds of things like that, and doing podcasts as well. Kind of want to be done doing manual labor, and the microphone now is going to be my future.
Oh, yeah, no. Give me a bar, give me 200 drunk people, and let me throw down one hell of a party. I'll stick
Yeah.
to that first, and I'll worry about settling back down. I mean, again, look at the difference between the two of us, though, right? I'm a young buck, you're a seasoned veteran. So, in the difference is I got a couple years before I start complaining about lifting speakers.
Yeah, you know what? The fun thing about my last two gigs was all I had to do was bring my XLRs and plug in to my gear.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
mean that's pretty
that is
cool.
the current situation. That is the current situation. But I'm not gonna be the guy to complain if I got to bring a couple speakers. If that means I'm gonna throw a party.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it's not worth complaining about, especially doing what we love. And
Exactly.
I've
Exactly.
always been to the guy that when you go into it, where say I go on vacation in Cuba or something, and we'll go into a disco there because they like their discos, and I've always gravitated to other DJs, and even when there's a language barrier, DJs still can communicate with each other. And somehow I always find myself in a DJ booth in a foreign country, in a foreign province, and it just something that Tracy probably drives her nuts, but it's something that I'll probably never stop doing because it's something that I absolutely love. Obviously, 36 years in, and I don't even plan on slowing down. You can't make me slow down.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I like to say that in that case, I'm a little different because when it comes to going on a vacation, or if I'm not working, then generally, I'm not to say I'm the furthest away from the DJ booth, but I'm the closest to the dance floor
Yeah.
because that's the difference. Like I don't know. Sometimes I feel again in my years of limited experience, but I feel like sometimes people they spend so much. I mean, DJs, but performers, they spend so much time performing that they forget what it's like to be a guest. And I always look at it
Huh.
going, how can you throw a party if you don't party yourself, right?
I
And
like that.
so
I like that.
that's the thing. So like for me, if I'm not working an event, if I'm working an event, really, if I don't have to actually be physically sitting there and pushing play, then I'm going to be just the same on the dance floor, shaking my ass and having just as much fun as a guest that's showing up to the bar.
Yeah. I'm the same way in a sense, but for me, I want to be the guy in the booth. I want to be the guy making the dancers go crazy. I want to be
Yeah.
that guy. And being on the opposite end of that, being in the crowd and partying too, I like to be that guy too, but I've always been wanting to be in control of the party. I like to do be in control of the temperature, and I like it hot.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you. I always say if it doesn't get hot enough, whiskey can fix that.
The funny thing is, I just started drinking as a DJ here in the last few years.
Oh,
True
well,
story.
me and Mr. Daniels have had a good relationship for a few good years now.
You know,
So I can't say the same.
it was always anywhere between an hour to a 2 hour drive to where I DJ'd, and
Oh yeah.
Tracy would always drink, and I was always the designated driver. And then one day we got an RV, and I was like, you know what? I can drink now because we're spending the night. And then
Yep. Yep.
quickly became the RV alcoholic. Tracy's got a few nicknames for me. That's just one of them. One of them
Well,
that I
because
can say.
I think that's the best way to say it is that COVID taught me how to be a very good DD.
Yeah.
And not so much a designated driver, but so much to be the designated drinker.
Yeah. Yeah. There's truth, man. There's truth in it. The thing about being a DJ in a nightclub is you kind of keep your composure, and you're there to get paid. You're not there to get drunk. But when you're doing it at home in a live stream, oh shit.
Well, that's what I said.
Oh
Sunday
yeah.
afternoon. What's that? We're cracking a brand new bottle of whiskey open in the middle of the afternoon. Yeah. Okay. We'll drink this straight from the bottle. Why not?
Yeah. Funny. Fun time. I've done that before on one of my live streams where Tracy couldn't be there to moderate for me and run my show. So she said, "You're on your own tonight. Get yourself some drinks." So I got my bottle, had my shot glasses, had a bucket of ice for my drinks, and by the end of the night, I was halfway through the night. I was doing what you do, man, just straight up out of the bottle, drinking it back, and
It's more efficient. You
oh
waste so
man,
much time pouring shots, and sometimes you spill too. If you have it straight from the bottle, you savor and you catch every drop.
yeah. The funny part about it was back when we first started live streaming, and it was on Facebook. I was doing it for my nightclub that I work for too. I was broadcasting from their Facebook channel as well as mine. And I phoned my boss the next morning. I was like, the last two videos on Facebook, can you delete those, please? He's like, uh
Yeah.
oh, what'd you do? And I was like, just delete them. And he goes, no, you've got the power. You go ahead and do it yourself. Okay, good. Delete, delete. Then it was
I'll
like
be
one of
right
those,
back.
you don't even understand what I'm saying. It's just a growl and a grumble.
Oh boy.
Never do that live. Never do that when I'm getting paid. But oh man, I'm telling you, when you're at home and you just have to leave your
Well,
studio and go
there's
upstairs to go to bed.
I,
Uh
I
oh.
always have that disclaimer. By the way, folks, this is not how I do my live shows, my real shows. This is very much the fact that I'm currently 10 minutes, a 2 minute walk away from my bed.
Yeah, that's funny. So, hey, actually, I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. You were DJing your live stream from an industrial area in Toronto. You were in a warehouse?
Yeah. So prior to the COVID, DJing was my life. I mean, not that it's not my life, but DJing was what I did as a full time thing, and an event coordinator was part of that job description. So as a result, we ended up having a big warehouse store all our gear in between non DJ gigs. And so come the pandemic, well, we have a bunch of gear and a lot of space in a warehouse that no one's doing anything with. So what better thing to do for a DJ than set up all the gear and throw a really loud party? Um, and yeah, that was kind of the main spot to do that in my old DJ company. That's basically what I was streaming from, and yeah, I kind of built the whole barn burner experience from that. And then just due to the fact that it is kind of frustrating to go all the way up there, especially when you're also working 5 days a week as a regular job now, and then you're DJing on the weekends as well, to then get up and have to drive somewhere to go stream. And then not to mention, after you're done the stream, sober up, wait until you're done sober, and then get home.
Yeah, riding
You
with
know, that
Johnny
ends
Rivex. Yeah, that'd be tough with double Johnny there.
exactly. So there's a little bit of there's a lot of stuff happening. So basically, the more efficient route was move the studio home, move the stream. The best part about a green screen, for those of you who are listening, is you don't have to be in the same spot if you have a green screen behind you. It looks like you're in the same spot, but no one knows any difference.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, I basically moved the screen home, set up in my living room, and now my dining table turns into a DJ table every Sunday afternoon.
Nice, nice. How far of a drive was it from the warehouse to get you home when after you had Jack
Oh,
Daniels
it
all
was
day?
about like 15 minutes. It wasn't a far drive, but it's a drive that you still have to do if you are not sober.
Yeah, no, that's a few times we were watching you and I was like, I hope that guy has a ride home because phew, a few of those drinks out of the bottle were pretty big.
Yep, and a lot of those times I had to spend the rest of my day doing nothing in a warehouse.
Sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Pretty much, yeah. Just kind of following along, watching the other DJs on same Twitch, or just kind of cleaning up my library or catching up on stuff, which is hard to do either because you're not sober doing it either.
You're not in the right frame
So
of mind for that.
yeah, so you're trying to do invoices and formal emails while you're half in the bag, and it's like, I can't send this right now. I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm going to
no.
get.
Did you start off live streaming on Facebook like all of us, or did you go right to Twitch?
Yeah, so that was the actually it was Instagram. I didn't even bother with Facebook because
What was that?
Facebook, as soon as I went online, they cut me off. I did go on Instagram. They gave me a little bit longer. I actually did a radio show. I had a internet radio station that was on for, I would say, pretty much almost half of, so it's 2020. So I would say for half of 2020, I did a radio show.
That's
And
cool.
that one was a lot better because unlike Twitch, where if you turn your phone off or if you like put it on the app on or something like that, it messes it up. With that radio show, it was pretty sweet because you could just hook it up to your Google Home, or you hook it up to your Bluetooth system and you kind of run it like regular internet radio. And you can still do everything else with your phone and your apps and stuff like that because it's just a background app running. So that was kind of really good. The only problem with that, naturally, is because it was internet radio, you never really got a whole lot of interaction. So I was really missing out on a crowd because all I was doing was just kind of playing tunes for, a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I started playing around with the Twitchy thingy once Instagram really started sucking. And yep, Instagram, if you're listening, you suck for copywriting. Um, and then I did a little bit on Twitter, but that was kind of waste. And then yeah, then we went to Twitch, and then kind of just invested all my chips into Twitch.
Yeah, I started on Facebook, and because that's all I knew, and like you said, man, they cut you off a lot. And one night, I think I was cut off something around 16 times, and I just kept going live, and I should have stopped after
Yeah.
the third time, and it kind of hurt myself as a DJ because I just was so stubborn and I just wanted to play, and I was drinking, obviously, but and then DJ DeCana said to me, he goes, "You need to get your ass over here on Mixcloud." So I started on Mixcloud for a little while, and he's like, "Yeah, you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Twitch would be better for us. Let's go to Twitch." So we came over to Twitch, and I haven't stopped. And I'm on my way to 1,000 followers. That's my goal here, short-term goal, to get to 1,000.
I'm just trying to make sure that we can throw a party every Sunday. If
You
I
know,
can get a steady 50 people watching on a Sunday afternoon, I'm a happy man.
yeah. I started out when I first started out on Mixcloud. I think I was averaging around 176 to around 179 ish a night, and a lot of them were live. But that dropped. I don't know why Mixcloud dropped. So I really concentrate more now on Twitch, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. And the one thing I really like about Twitch is the interactivity that you get with it. You could see, you know, what I mean, the chat is way different than, I don't know if you've ever played on Mixcloud, but Twitch
Yeah,
is much better.
that was internet radio. It was kind of the similar idea.
Yeah. It's just not the same. Like you said, I feed from the energy of a crowd, and the bigger the crowd, the more energy I have. And in
Yeah,
Mixcloud, I
that's
just
it.
didn't really feel that. But I still do. I restream. I do Twitter, Mixcloud, and Twitch when I'm live streaming, and I just can't stop it. But I'm hoping to go back to Facebook because last year sometime they started allowing DJs to live stream with music copyright free without having them shut down. So if they're allowing gamers on Facebook to do that, the next logical step to me would be allowing DJs to play the same music.
Yeah.
I mean, gamers actually generate more revenue than we do as a DJ online. I don't understand that. I've never understood
Well,
that. When a guy's sitting there playing a video game, he's got 1 million viewers, and we're a DJ's playing.
clearly you're not the demographic.
Yeah, I've never been a gamer, so I never understand gaming. My gaming world was outdoors when I was a kid. We made
Yeah,
guns and stick horses. I grew up in a different time.
exactly.
We had Pong when I was a kid. That was my first video arcade game, like my first home system.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
Yeah, so a little bit of a generational gap there. But the funny thing is about you, man, you really remind me of myself when I was younger and when I was first starting out as a DJ. Just the energy that you bring in. And it's funny because you start the show out most mornings at 9 a.m. in my time, and I'm just rolling my drunk ass out of bed at that time, and you're just partying away, and it's like, wow. And then I close the day, and it's like, this was me when I was younger, and now it seems like this is where I progressed, and this is where I am now. For me, it's like a little bit of a journey on my own every Sunday when we get to go, and I get to watch you play, and then when I play, it's fun, man.
Yeah, and you got to remember that's on 4 hours of sleep usually every Sunday.
I don't sleep, so I'm a bit of a vampire that way. I'm up night and day, and I rarely sleep. I don't get it.
Oh, I just don't get a chance to sleep. I can sleep if I lie down, I fall asleep right now. I just don't get a chance.
And that's weird, man. My whole life, I've never been able to. I thought everybody was like that until I was like probably 12 or 13 years old. Like, huh? I'm the only one. Like, be dead silent in a house, and I'm walking around by myself in the middle of the night, and I just couldn't sleep. Never been a sleeper. I don't know why. I just never got to me. I guess I'm supposed to be awake for something.
Mhm.
I haven't figured it out yet, so I'll just keep on doing what I do. But
That's it.
this has been awesome chatting with you, my friend. We're gonna end it right
Likewise,
here,
sir.
and we'll do this again because we're just touching on this is tip of the iceberg for you and I here. We'll definitely
Oh,
have you
for
back
sure.
again, man. And it's been my pleasure to be talking with you today. Thanks again for joining us on my podcast, and look forward to seeing you again real soon on our live streams.
Thanks for having us. I will see you. We'll see you on St. Twitch.
You betcha, brother. I'm back this Sunday again.
All right, buddy. We'll see you on Sunday.
You betcha, man. Stay safe. We'll see you
later,
soon.
brother.
You betcha. There you have it, guys. We were just on the phone with DJ Johnny Rivex out of Toronto, Ontario. It was nice chatting with him. The world of Twitch, internet DJing, online DJing has really changed us as DJs. At one point, DJs would be in huge, severe competition with each other because, especially coming from a small town like myself, when you've got, say, 5 DJs in a town that are doing mobiles, and there's 6 or 7 weddings a season in your town, that's a lot of competition. And DJs, even in nightclub industries, there was a lot of backstabbing, as you know, in nightclub industries, with just not just DJs, but with a lot of staff. People want to do things their way. And anyways, it's another podcast for another day. But it was really nice talking to Johnny Rivex today. We'll get back on to some of those other topics that we were talking about earlier. And we'll cut her short for today, and we'll be seeing you again very, very soon. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.